welcome to the meeting of the council. Please be seated. I'm required to inform you this meeting is being recorded. This is in line with legislation. If any member of the public or press would like to record proceedings themselves, please ensure this is done from the public gallery without interfering with the business of today's meeting. Any member who wishes to speak on any of the agenda items should use the microphones available. There are no fire drills planned, so if the alarm goes and those sitting in the gallery exit through the doors behind them. And those sitting in the chamber exit through the main doors either side. Let us be a minute. The first item of business is declarations of interest. No declarations have been received. Does anyone now wish to verbally make any declarations before we move on to the next business? The next item of business is the minutes of the meeting of the council on the 5th of September 2019. Are they accepted as a true record? Yeah.
The minutes of the previous meeting are not a true record, as everybody knows who was present. Nowhere there to refer to the tantrum that the leader of the council had and insulting the public gallery. And I'd like to ask him now if he'd apologise to the public gallery on camera when we maybe insulted them on camera. Please.
I'm not heard anybody so anybody. Okay.
Well, I'm asking him again on camera, will he apologise for insulting the public gallery on camera, yes or no?
Well, this is not a minute, so can you please take
Well, I'm not agreeing that that's a true record. I'm not a true record. You insulted the public.
I'm not, that would be verbally clear.
Right, so it's a leader of the council to know that. Thank you.
The next business is Mayor's Communications. I'm delighted to inform members of the appointment of Councillor Gibson to Chairman of the LGA Coastal Special Interest Group. This is a national role and plays an integral role in ensuring that the local government's voice is heard on development policy that impacts on coastal communities. This is a particularly important role given that the government show figures published earlier this month found that the most deprived places in England are found by the sea. I would like to offer my congratulations to Councillor Gibson. On his appointment, and hope that his new role allows us to lobby government and ensure that investment is made in coastal communities across the country. I have another one. I have been informed that Councillor Alex Donaldson is not very well, and I'm sure you will agree. We wish him a speedy recovery. The next business is to consider a report of the Chief Executive on the designation of monitoring officer. I will ask the leader of the council, Councillor Ian Malvin, to formally make the report. Councillor Malvin.
Mr Mayor, in accordance with Section 5 of the Local Government and Housing Act 1989 as amended, Nicola Robertson be confirmed as the council's monitoring officer on an interim basis.
Is that seconded? Are there any questions or does any member wish to speak on the report? Is the motion agreed?
Agreed.
The next business is to consider a report of the Chief Executive providing an update on the Constitution. I will ask the leader of the council, Councillor Ian Martin, to formally move the report. Councillor Martin?
So, Mayor, colleagues, in order to continue to enable legal and effective council decision making, it is important that we regularly review and, where necessary, amend our constitution. But through doing this, we can ensure that our governance processes and procedures are appropriately aligned with the current council structures, which has and will continue to evolve over the years, adapting to changing business needs. Mr. Mayor, the amendments proposed include adjustments to reflect new and updated chief officer roles, and also to remove procedural requirements which relate to now outdated technological processes such as the use of the fax machine. And the proposals also seek to clarify the process of submitting petitions to the Borough Council, which members of the public have advised us have caused some confusion in the past. Mr. Mayor, I move the recommendations contained in the report.
Is that seconded? Are there any questions or does any member wish to speak on the report?
Yes, I'd like to speak on that. So,
May I put your mate on to
the Constitution Committee met recently and we discussed the amendments for submitting motions under Rule 10. The change to Rule 10 was specifically discussed and an amendment agreed by all in the Constitution Committee. What is proposed today is not what was agreed in the Constitution Committee. It was unanimously agreed by all in attendance that when an email was sent proposing a motion, all members in support of that motion would, on the same email thread, respond saying they confirmed support. That email from a member's email address was agreed as sufficient, as is widely accepted in normal business today. This, as I say, was unanimously agreed by all in attendance. Councillor Ian Martin made a point of agreeing, stating we needed to move with the times and ensure the process remains digital and user-friendly. I've been asking for 3 days for an amendment or deferment. Only at 4 p.m. today was I told the amendment would be proposed as it reads on the agenda, despite being given an indication that this would be amended to what was agreed in committee. Can I ask, what is the point of having a Constitution Committee if what is agreed in committee is then dismissed immediately afterwards? I would like to ask for the amendment to Rule 10 to be deferred to the next Constitution Committee for further clarification and agreement.
Mr. Mayor, the Constitution Committee is not a formal committee, it's an advisory committee to Borough Council. We considered the recommendation. Councillor Thompson is certainly correct that there was a body of opinion that submitting support for motions by email may be acceptable. However, in discussions with officers and legal officers after the meeting, it has been decided that in order to prevent a repeat of what happened in the past, whereby a councillor's name was added to a motion without their approval, we suspect, I think it was via email, that in future members who wish to support a motion must do so in writing.
Can I respond to that? I'd just like to repeat that surely this should be settled in committee before it comes to chamber. And I would just repeat my request that it's deferred and taken back to committee.
Is the motion agreed?
Can I speak, please?
No.
No.
The next business is to consider a report. The next business, the next, don't.
I'm not a council asking you to
speak. Because I'll ask you to
put my hand up, I didn't talk over you first.
Well, you have done now.
Would you mind just shutting up and following what the mayor is saying, okay? We're here to have a democratic debate, and we're not for somebody to be shouting.
Right, I not just
All right, gentlemen. The next business is to consider a report of the corporate director of the business law on the pension fund merger. I will ask Councillor Ed Malcolm to formally move the report. Councillor Malcolm?
Well, thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, the Council has been in discussion with Northumberland County Council about merging the Tyneside Pension Fund with the fund administered by Northumberland. The Council already provides pension administration shared service for both funds, which operate from the Council's offices in South Shields. Sharing the service has been beneficial for both funds, leading to economies of scale, improved resourcing and enhanced services to meet increasingly stringent standards. Merging the two funds into one will realise further efficiencies which will accrue from undertaking one governance function and also incurring only one set of governance costs rather than two. The proposal is for the assets and liabilities of the Northumberland Fund to be transferred into the Tyneside Fund, for which the Council is the administrating authority. To do this would require regulatory change. Discussions are taking place with the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government to effect this change. The long-term benefit of merger for the Council is that it will increase resilience to potential future changes and consolidation in the local government pension scheme, and this could help protect jobs in the Council and the region. The due diligence process is now well processed and no significant obstacles to merger have been identified. However, the due diligence process has not been finalised. The proposal to merge is supported by the Cabinet, Pensions Committee and other councils within Tyneside. So the Council is recommended to agree to progress with the merger of the Tyneside Pension Fund and Northumberland County Council Pension Fund, and to delegate the final decision on the implementation to the Pensions Committee in consultation with the leader and the lead member of Resources and Innovation. This will be subject to the satisfactory conclusion of the due diligence process. I'll move the report, Mr Mayor.
Is that seconded? Seconded. Are there any questions or does any member wish to speak on the report? Is the motion agreed? Agreed. The next business is to consider a report on the Corporate Business and Resources on the revised protocol for the Joint Health Scrutiny Committee with Sunderland City Council. I will ask Councillor Dixon to formally move the report. Councillor Dixon.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Firstly, Mr Mayor, can I point out that there has been a minor error in the report and that has been identified. And it relates to the STP on the final page of the appendix, and this has now been amended to ICS. Thank you, Mr Mayor. As members will be aware, in 2016, South Tyneside Council and Sunderland Council established a joint health scrutiny committee to consider service changes resulting from the formation of an alliance. A subsequent merger between South Tyneside NHS Foundation Trust and City Hospital Sunderland NHS Foundation Trust, which now refers to South Tyneside and Sunderland NHS Foundation Trust, and the subsequent Path to Excellence Service Change Programme. As the programme moves to the second phase, the future of the broader range of services to be considered, including emergency and acute medicine, emergency services and planned operations. As residents from North Durham tend to look towards Sunderland Hospital for their hospital-based care, it is necessary for the view of their residents to be represented on the committee. A revised protocol in this report allows 3 Durham councillors to join the 7 from South Tyneside and 7 from Sunderland councillors on the committee. The reason that Durham have 3 councillors as opposed to 7 from the other councils is reflected in the relative population. I would therefore recommend that the Council agrees the amendments to the existing Joint Health Scrutiny Committee and enters into joint arrangements with Sunderland City Council and Durham County Council for the Joint Health Scrutiny Committee for the purpose of joint scrutinising proposals under the Path to Excellence programme. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Is that seconded? Seconded. Are there any questions or does any member wish to speak on the report? Is the motion agreed? Agreed. The next business is to receive questions under the procedure of Rule 8. One question has been received under this rule from Mr. Jack White, which reads, what is South Tyneside Council doing, if anything, to make sure that the reserved decision taken by Nexus to overlook Northeast train builders, Hitachi Rail, in the renewal of the Tyneside metro fleet is reversed? Currently, the contract is set to go to a foreign competitor, and Nexus has preferred opportunity to support local skilled jobs, but instead choosing to disregard the great global train builder. Mr. White will receive a written response to his question within 7 days of this meeting. The next business is to deal with a petition received under the Council Procedure Rule 9. One petition has been received under the rule in relation to speeding vehicles on Glenrock Road and Municipal Road. There are 22 signatures to this petition. We will not debate the petition today. I move that it be referred to a appropriate body. Is that seconded? Is that agreed? The next business is to receive motion under Procedure Rule 10. One motion has been received under this rule from Councillors Robertson, Milburn, Roberts, Thompson and Francis. I will ask Councillor Robinson to move the motion, and you may speak for up to 5 minutes. I will then ask whether the motion is seconded, and the seconder may speak for up to 3 minutes. They reserve the right to speak later in the debate. The motion will then be open to debate by members who may speak for up to 3 minutes and may move amendments. Councillor Roberts.
This motion is on behalf of the people of South Tyneside against the Council funding downgrading or any downgrading of the hospital and the 35 million loan that's been discussed unofficially. The whole of the borough is totally against any funding of the downgrade of our health service at the local hospital. I'll ask the Council to confirm on camera that this will not happen. There will not be any part of any downgrading of the hospital. Thank you.
Is this motion seconded?
Seconded. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Stop response to this question regarding the loan has been handled for a while. But the question hasn't been asked. But it's the residents that are asking the question. They need to know where you stand on this issue, and I urge you to support this type of loan that could contribute to further downgrading of South Tyneside Hospital. Thank you very much.
The motion is now open to debate by members. However, I have had notice of one amendment from Councillor Atkinson. The amendment has been circulated in writing. Can I ask Councillor Atkinson to present her amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do so, Mr. Mayor, but just before I do that, I'd just like to refer to the motion which was presented to everyone in the agenda that we have today. It doesn't quite tie in with what Councillor Robertson said, but I'll go on to put forward the amendment, and then that might clarify things, which I hope is what we all seek. So I do thank the opposition for submitting the motion as it appears in the papers. It's important to make clear that the Council has received no formal request from the Foundation Trust for us to use our borrowing powers to fund any improvements to the fabric of South Tyneside Hospital. Therefore, I wish to make the following amendments, which I hope the opposition will accept. So on bullet point 1, we are changing it to has stated rather than say. So the Labour Party has stated that Labour, etc. Bullet point 2, the STP is no longer the strategic plan for the NHS. This has been superseded and our amendment reflects that. Bullet point 3 is accepted. Bullet point 4 is accepted. Bullet point 5 reflects the fact that the Overview Committee referred the path to excellence to the Secretary of State, which is a point worth noting and is mentioned here in our amendment. Bullet point 6, slight changes to acknowledge that NHS England have not ruled out funding phase 2 of the path to excellence. They have merely not included it in their capital expenditure at the moment. Bullet point 7, worth noting that any investment on the South Tyneside Hospital site is for capital investment, improving the physical infrastructure of the hospital. Bullet point 8, we wish to delete this point and make an additional recommendation. Bullet point 9 now becomes bullet point 8, and it is worth placing on record that the South Tyneside and Sunderland Foundation Trust have made public statements of the long-term future of the hospital site in the South Shields, and there is no suggestion at all of this closing. Bullet point 10 now becomes 9, and it is worth highlighting, Mr Mayor, that any loan from the Public Works Loan Board is the responsibility of the NHS Trust to repay. So turning to the recommendations, Mr Mayor. Point 1, amendments to reflect that if such a loan was requested, it will be to facilitate the improvement and expansion of local health services in the borough. Point 2, a slight amendment to reflect the role of trade unions and other key stakeholders in their work to protect and improve local access to NHS services in the borough. And the additional recommendation I'd like to add, which is point 3, that the Council writes to the Secretary of State for Health to inquire whether any NHS trusts in England have taken out a Public Works Loan Board loan to facilitate improvements to the assets of their local hospitals, and whether any have defaulted on their loan agreements. That is the amendment, Mr Mayor.
Is the amendment seconded?
Seconded.
Councillor Robinson, do you wish to reply to the debate on the amendment?
Yes, please. It's been stated on numerous occasions that there's been no request for the funding. So can somebody explain to us why there's been informal discussions if nobody's requested anything? Thank you.
Councillor Atkinson, will you reply?
It's not my portfolio, Councillor Robertson, but my understanding is, because I have asked the question, is that exploratory talks, whether it be about this type of facility or possibility, are held all of the time with various bodies. And this would be an exploratory conversation which was had at some time. It doesn't, like any conversation that you have with residents about what may or may not be possible, you know, these conversations happen. It doesn't necessarily mean that they will come about. So, you know, we all have to do some fact-finding before we make decisions as big as this, or even less so. So that is the answer. Thank you.
I take what you say there, but the politicians answered what I said. I said you said there's been no request for the funding, yeah? But why would there be any talks, informal talks? I mean, I was guessing that they need the money.
Sorry, can you just clarify that? I don't understand why I haven't answered that in
It's
my...
going back to my original question. The council said that there's been no request for this funding. And I'm saying, well, why has there been informal talks about this 35 million? You haven't just put the figure out of thin air. So why would you have informal talks if it hasn't been requested?
I thought I'd already explained it, but I'll try and go through that again. So, let's think of another analogy. So if someone wanted to do some capital works, whether it be to their home, garden, whatever, they would have an exploratory talk, would they not, with a lender to see how much could they borrow if things stacked up. It's that kind of conversation. There's been no official request for a loan. Thank you.
Is the amendment agreed?
Agreed.
Amendment is agreed. We will now vote on the amended. We will now vote on the motion as amended. I will ask the acting head of legal services to go that. Just do that.
Could I have a table, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone. We proceed to the name vote. I will read out each member's name, and if you could respond by saying whether you are for or against the amended motion.
Mr. Mayor, constitutionally that's wrong. We need 5 people to stand up on the other side and agree with the name vote.
It didn't happen last time, I did.
Well, good all stood up.
It was rules for again.
When I asked for a name vote at the last council meeting, everybody knows that my colleagues and comrades would have stood up. You need, under the constitution, you need 5 people to stand up.
All right.
So is that.
We'll do that.
The game was like get put in. It didn't happen last time. So the rules for one and rules for another again. Again.
Have you got 5 members to stand up?
No, we've got 4 minutes.
You've got 4.
Yeah.
Well, it cannot be carried. I'm sorry, the motion is not carried.
Amended motion.
The amended motion is, you can't vote. Yeah.
Councillor McCabe's just confirmed that the right procedure wasn't followed the last time, so the precedent's been set. So on this occasion, it appears that the independents are being totally different. The Labour, yes, I agree, they would have stood up, but they weren't asked to stand up, but we have been asked to stand up, when you know full well there's 4 independent councillors.
Well,
In response to that, the democracy is a joke in this room. A joke.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor. The rules of the Constitution are there, and they are always adopted. Always adopted. This is a democratic place. This is a democratic council. Unfortunately, my colleagues on the other side fail to respect that by intervening when I'm speaking. When I'm intervening when I'm speaking, they show lack of respect in the chamber. If you're going to play football, you play the rules. If you play rugby, cricket, you play the rules. And in the council, you play the rules, and the rules will be adopted tonight. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Can I speak in return to that, please?
Move the vote.
Oh, you just stand there saying no, move the vote. You know, there's a couple of and say no, you can't speak, but your head's down, your back down.
talk over the
He's just going to speak that way, man.
over the mayor.
You are a disgrace, you.
Move the vote.
Absolute disgrace.
The vote is carried. That concludes the business of today's meeting. There are no votes. I don't have any vote. Amended motion. Pass, please. Pass the amendment.
Those in favour?
That's passed. Thank you. That concludes